It was a horrible event that scarred the small town of Corsicana, Texas, 23 years ago. 3 young girls killed in a house fire. Their father convicted of murdering them and executed for the crime. But the case of Cameron Todd Willingham is not so simple. New evidence points to the troubling possibility that Texas may have executed an innocent man. Heidi Jo Castro explains.
It was a morning just before Christmas, 1991. Cameron Scott Willingham and his 3 daughters, 2-year-old Amber and 1-year-old twins Carmen and Cameron, were home napping while their mother was out. Then, the unimaginable, a fire. Willingham escaped alone. His 3 girls died.
It's hard to even imagine a greater tragedy that could happen to a family.
But that was just the beginning. Willingham, known as a troublemaker in town and suspected of beating his wife, was arrested for the girls' deaths. Neighbors said they saw him push his car from the flames, apparently unconcerned about his daughters inside. The trial was swift.
The prosecutor said at his trial that there were 2 pillars of evidence in the case. One was the testimony of the arson investigators, who testified that this was an intentionally set fire.
The Corsicana Fire Department, along with the Texas Fire Marshal's office, told the jury they found evidence of an accelerant leading from the girls' bedroom to the front door. They also discovered a refrigerator blocking the back entrance. Then there was the state's star witness, a trustee at the jail where Willingham was being held.
Johnny Webb testified that he was talking to Todd Willingham and that Todd Willingham had confessed to committing the murder by setting the fire.
Willingham denied the charges and refused a plea deal. It took no time for the jury to find him guilty of capital murder, and Willingham was sent to death row. But then something unexpected happened.
I'm concerned about this case because of the bad science.
Willingham's execution date was just around the corner when, at the behest of his family, one of the nation's leading fire experts took a second look at the forensic evidence. John Lantini and 7 other seasoned fire investigators all reached the same conclusion.
The so-called indicators of arson that were used by the Texas State Fire Marshal, and they listed 20 of them, were all invalid indicators. We concluded that there was no credible evidence that the Willingham fire was an arson fire.
Willingham had claimed the fire was accidental, that he had barely escaped and had no chance to return for his children.
But it could have been one of the little kids putting a blanket near a space heater. It could have been an electrical malfunction. The wiring in the house was pretty awful.
On the eve of Willingham's execution, a report with the new findings landed on Texas Governor Rick Perry's desk asking for clemency. Perry said no. Texas executed Cameron Todd Willingham on February 17, 2004, hours after this photo was taken.
He protested his innocence to the last moment that he was alive.
But what about that confession, the one Willingham supposedly gave to the jailhouse informant who testified against him in court?
See, everybody says I'm a snitch. I didn't snitch on nobody. I straight up lied like John Jackson told me to.